Chat room's already been seeing us, I guess.
They've been hanging out for a while.
Yeah, they don't go anywhere. All right, here we go. Ladies and germs, sidle on up. Pull up a chair. It's time for the instance, and it begins in 3, 2, 1.
You guys are just awesome.
You're listening to The Instance.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Instance. This is The Instance, the World of Warcraft podcast, so that you don't have to, but you can if you want. It's not a problem. Just go ahead and do it. We don't care. It's good. More the merrier, man. It's episode 376 of The Instance, and I'm Scott Johnson. I'm joined by Dills. Hi, Dills.
I am Dills.
You are Dills. You are Groot. You are Dills.
I am Dills.
We don't know where Terpster is. He may pop in. He hasn't answered my text, so I don't know if he may be out of town. He may have something going on. I don't know. It's too bad because big week in news. He's going to miss out on the fun talk because usually, I mean, not. I don't know. I shouldn't blanket statement this, but we are in that period right between end of expansion and new expansion, and things always get a little slow.
Yeah, this is actually supposed to be slow time, but not this week.
No,
this week was. But you know what? This is the 10-year stuff, man. It has to be big.
Yeah, good point. We're about to hit the 10-year mark in November, I guess, is launch day.
I know that we're getting close to the 10-year mark because everyone's posting how much money have you spent on World of Warcraft since it was launched.
Yeah, and you're on all the /played posts, and everybody kind of freaking out about this idea that we're 10 years, a decade into this game. It's kind of psycho, actually, now that I think about it, that time has gone so quickly.
What other game have you played for 10 years?
None. Not
one.
one.
A single one? There's
well,
not like,
I may return to Quake when it's available or something, or I might play Unreal Tournament 2003 here and there, but not really that often. I mean, what other consistent, in the mind's eye kind of game that lasts more than 10 years, could I compare it to? And the only thing I could think of would be like other MMOs like EverQuest or something, but I'm not playing those. Someone else is, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, okay. The only games that I still play that I've been playing for 10 years is Pool.
Oh, Pool.
I mean that's it. Like real life games.
Like straight up analog balls on a table, stick in hand Pool.
Yeah. Just here's a rectangle.
Yeah.
And then here's 15 balls.
Whoa.
Well, and then here's one extra.
Yeah. Tuesday. They don't have maintenance. Do they have maintenance days on Tuesdays?
On Tuesdays you can't play until about 1 o'clock. But it's funny to me that those are the games that actually hold up the best. Here's a stick and some balls. Go at it. Have fun.
Yeah.
Here's a big grassy field.
Sure.
One ball and then some goals on each side.
I don't think that stuff ever goes away.
Yeah.
As human beings, I feel like we will always have our sport, I suppose, our physical get out there with a stick and ball and whatever, and then technology around it may change. You may have better ways of viewing it or playing it or protecting yourself in it, like in football or whatever. Baseball may one day become Blurn's ball if Futurama has anything to say about it. But
I don't know about that. I think it's just going to be baseball, but eventually there'll be.
They won't tether the ball so it comes back to the pitcher or anything like that. None of those weird things.
I don't know. I feel like sports are going to stay. There's going to be technological advances. Catchers won't get as many concussions maybe at some point, but I think sports are sports. They're going to stick around. New ones will come along.
Yeah.
Like the basketball with the trampolines. That was a big thing.
That was huge, right? For about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Huge. What did they call? I didn't even remember.
What was that called? It was
stupid. Danger ball.
Danger ball. That's great. I love that name. So actually this has a real implications of this question, and it's been in my mind lately because we're in the aftermath of that Dota 2 International and the League of Legends their big tournaments coming up and their prize money stacking up, and everyone's like, esports has arrived. Even StarCraft continues to do well with its Invitational and all the other tournaments going on around the year, and now Hearthstone is looking very much like it will be a force to be reckoned with in the arena of esports. Here's the big question though: football, baseball, basketball, and other sports soccer or international football. These games all have essentially the core rules have always been the same. They've never really changed. There have been additions, tweaks, whatever. Even football, which is a relatively modern incarnation of a human sport that's very popular. These things are so cemented in their ways that they could go, you could presume hundreds, maybe thousands of years into the future and not be changed all that much. Mm-hmm. But esports, people want these things to be that. They're like, yeah, man, ESPN and 20 million concurrent viewers, and Twitch was down because they couldn't handle the load, and it's getting big, it's getting huge, and all this stuff. At what point, though, do you go, well, there's another factor here, like League of Legends or Dota 2, those graphics that are currently in the game aren't going to hold up forever.
That's, I think, the main issue is that when you're talking about gaming and technology, that it moves so fast that no one's going to enjoy something that looks dated. And so StarCraft did a fairly decent job of holding up for a really long time. Yeah. Because, the original StarCraft was the thing. Sure. And then you had StarCraft 2, and it was still the thing for a little while, and it held up, and it just graphically looked a lot better and it was more interesting to watch.
They kept the core pretty much the same, though, which I think was part of the reason they did that was to support that
just to continue to have that top esport game.
Sure. But my whole point is, like, StarCraft looked like it was going to be the baseball of esports and would just be around perennially forever, and now it's waning a bit.
Was the perfect kind of esport format, because it was hard to get professional at it. It meant you had to actually be really good and have talent, and then also work really hard and all that. So
but you make a good point about time being compressed with tech and with game stuff. And so what ends up happening is it may take 100 years for football to be unseated as the most popular sport in, say, America, but it takes video games 3 or 4 years to go from unstoppable to yesterday's breakfast, right? And now everybody's into something else. So I don't know. I find it's an interesting philosophical question about the future of esports, or what esports even is, or if we should be trying so hard to make it seem like real sports.
I don't think we should. I think we should just let it be what it is and treat it as such. Treat it as a totally different dynamic than regular sports. And the whole thing of casting, we have to have these casters who are basically sports announcers, and they have to act exactly like sports announcers. They have to really never let a moment of dead air happen, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
You got your color guy, you got your play-by-play guy. It's like the same thing.
Like it feels to me like when you copy something, you set yourself up in a way for failure because you're not the same. You're not as good, instead of creating and defining your own thing. So hopefully I think we move into a space where esports are just esports, and it's not like, even just take the damn name, like, sports name out of it. You could just call it competitive gaming and it would be fine.
Yeah, and quit trying to have somebody control it. Quit trying to have your Major League Gaming, MGL, one company rules them all. They're trying to be the NFL, or they're trying to be the whatever. And the problem with that is, since it can't be just limited to one game, they're trying to have multiple games under that umbrella. So then it comes down to who has the most money and who has the most control. And at the end of the day, I would like to see games and this kind of thing be less in the hands of an elite few with all the money, and just put it back in the hands of the players, and just let it, like you said, let it be what it's going to be. And if something gets huge and enormous and has a giant prize pool and a lot of organization, great, let it be that. But also be aware that some of this stuff could be very short-lived, and the next thing is around the corner, and you don't even know what it is yet. And unlike football, where you can be a Steelers fan from the day you were born to the day you die, you're not going to be born an LOL fan and die a StarCraft fan. You're gonna there's going to be a trillion games in between, and
or you're not going to have one player who's your favorite forever because their careers are very short, and
much shorter.
It just seems to me that the format that's kind of been adopted, I don't know if it's sustainable right now, and that's one thing that concerns me. Is there's all this money being thrown at different tournaments. And where's the money coming from, and are they recouping this money? I'm surprised it hasn't gone more the route, like with Hearthstone, I'm surprised it hasn't gone more the route of, say, poker, where the players buy in to the big tournament,
Yeah.
And that's where the prize pool comes from, is from the players' pockets, and the winners can end up staying and continue, because they can actually sustain a lifestyle where they just play this game for fun or for money, and the other people are playing it for fun because they want to play with the best players, type of thing.
Sure.
And I feel like that might be a little more sustainable, and that may at some point happen when sponsor money kind of runs. I'm just worried sponsor money is going to run dry, and then there's going to be no more of these huge tournaments.
Well, plus everybody wants it to be so mainstream that, let's say World First in World of Warcraft was a sustainable esport. It is. It just isn't the level of, say, League of Legends or Dota 2. So
yeah,
that
people get paid to try to get World First.
Yeah. Now, what they ought to do is that's all good, and that all should keep happening. But like poker World Championship stuff, let them just do their thing and not worry about trying to force it down the mainstream's throat. There's a tendency out there for people to say, well, no, until this is on every television and everyone of every age is sitting around on a Sunday afternoon watching the great Dota 2 final, that's when we know we've accomplished our goal. I don't know that we need that. Do we need that? I mean, that seems like
not necessarily
a weird dream. Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't have to. Yeah, we don't have to. I mean, it would be nice to break into the mainstream where you could turn on ESPN and you'd see the Dota 2 final. That would be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But if we don't ever reach that doesn't mean that esports never made it. To me, anyway, it feels like it's already made it at this point.
Sure,
it's such a big deal.
I used to watch Fatality kick some serious ass in Quake 2. That didn't make it any less exciting for me to know that it wasn't on ESPN at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's actually a weird thing too. I know a lot of names of these players, and if I said these names to, these are not household names. I said these names to, like, my mom knows a lot of the names of sports people, right?
Sure.
But she's not she never watches football. She hates it when we watch football on Thanksgiving.
Right.
She knows who Brett Favre is. But if I were to say, hey mom, you ever heard of the little one or whatever? She'd be like, nah, I don't know who the hell that is.
Yeah, who is that?
Yeah, and so we don't need it to get there. No. We don't need mom to know who these guys are.
Yeah.
We don't need everyone to know who Athene is either. Like that. We don't need any of that stuff.
It's the same with
stay within the gaming community.
It's the same with podcasting or YouTube stuff or whatever. As big as somebody like, say, PewDiePie is, you go into a mall and yell PewDiePie, and you're gonna get a lot of 13-year-olds absolutely know who that is. And you're gonna get a ton of other people who have no idea what the hell you're saying. It's just the way that is, and I think we should be okay with it. We get what we get. We do what we do. Yeah,
that's what makes stuff like podcasting so great. Is that the instance can be a fairly well respected and liked, and it's got people look at it as this huge institution in podcasting,
right?
And then you go to random Joe Schmo in the corner and talk about what podcasting is. He doesn't even know what the hell a podcast is in the first place.
Yeah, they don't know. Now that's it. Now how do you do that? Now do I have that in my car? Can I get that
on
in my car?
Computer? Oh no, that's not happening.
Yeah, we're whatever. Three steps forward, one step back. That's the way this works. All right, well, on to other stuff. We mentioned we're sort of in this in-between expansions funk, and I'm kind of feeling it again. I'm working on my mage a bit.
Yeah, you were all over it, though, last week.
I was kind of going crazy there for a bit, kind of a burst, fits and bursts for me. And then I had, I don't know, kind of, I shouldn't say that way. Look, rating's fun, but I get to the point with the final boss where you're like, okay. Is this on farm yet? Okay. And there's something about it knowing it's the last piece of content before we get this new expansion, and I'm way more excited about the new expansion than I am the last piece of content.
One issue with the final boss that I've always had?
What's that?
Is that now we've killed the final boss, and then maybe there's a single piece of gear that drops off the final boss that is the coolest thing ever.
Right.
My only motivation at that point is to then get that piece of gear. But then for what? For what boss next? To me, the gear is always the reason to, it's the way to get the next piece of content done.
Right. So you move on. Exactly.
Kill the final boss. You're like, well, we did it.
Yeah. Now what?
Yeah.
I'll get a green. I'll get a green bow from the freaking first quest giver in Draenor.
I'm gonna kill a spider as soon as I hit the shores of Draenor, and I'm gonna have something that beats that. But no, it's just. That little bit of and I know some people are not going to understand this mentality at all. They're like, no, you got to have all the gear, man. That's the best gear.
Yeah.
But for me, the gear has always just been a means to an end, and the end is killing the boss. So once you kill the final boss, you're just kind of I don't know.
Just treading water. It's like it's some people say, well, now that whole gear chase is about transmog and building sets and stuff like that. And if you're into that, I'm glad that that's a thing they do, but it's never been my motivation.
I like the transmog with the old stuff though. I am enjoying that factor being in the game. And then going back and soloing and stuff. Oh, I play Hunter, so
yeah, you can solo anything.
I can solo whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, don't tell Dills what he can't solo.
No,
he knows what he got.
Oh, I can solo it. Come on.
So I just feel
that would be a motivation to get the best gear. Then it makes a couple more things soloable, I guess. That one little extra piece of power might do it.
Yeah, but working on this mage and just trying to get him geared in LFR and stuff is fun and good. But I still feel like I'm kind of like, well, all this is gonna. When I hit Draenor, I'm not gonna care about any of this. So why am I doing this now? Like I'm having that moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's avoidable. I think we all have this moment. It just depends on when you have it. I'm having it now.
So I've been logging in and then having the what do I want to do right now? Is there anything that I really want to do?
You fly around 2 moons and then get out.
Queue up for a couple PvP battlegrounds, but I don't know. I'm not really caring that much there either. It's an odd time.
Yeah, it's
definitely achievements I would like to go get, but some of them require me to get people to come with me, and that's a whole thing, and I'm lazy and gotta put that together. So I don't know.
I know.
There's a sense of excitement for Draenor, and then a sense of just kind of lackadaisical attitude going on towards the game at this moment.
Yep. Right now, I don't know if there's a word for it, but that's what I'm feeling as well. So we'll see. I mean, next week we get the we'll talk about it in the news, but we'll get a big reveal, and that may motivate me to do other things or whatever. And the 10-year stuff's really exciting, except, I mean, none of that's going to matter until the patch or until the expansion. So, yeah, it's that time. I'm curious what listeners think about all that. You've been playing a lot of Hearthstone Nax. And, what's that doing for you? How's that going?
Loving the Nax. Well, it's making me want to play. I want to raid Nax just for the fun of it. So hopefully have a little bit of time this weekend and see if I can grab a couple people and go in there and just kind of just dominate the place.
1 or 2 would do enough for mechanics and stuff. So I
think you need at least 2 people for some of the fights because 4 horsemen, you have to have people on each side of the room. But I don't even know how that would work now. I wonder if it wouldn't even matter because the damage wouldn't be enough. Who knows? I don't know. It's been a while since I've done it, but so I'm considering doing some of that because it's just so nostalgic going in there and fighting all these guys.
It is, yeah. When they pull off they'll do like a thing with who's the big beetle dude? Anyway, in the first wing, the Anacrodring.
Noob.
Anubercon? Anubercon, is that it? Anyway, when he shats the when he pops the bug thing or the swarm deal, I had the most crazy sudden feeling of nostalgia for Nax because I remember that bit. And you had to kite him around that room, and then when that would hit, you'd have to run from that stuff. And as soon as he launched it, I went, "Oh yeah, that!" And so it is having that weird effect of we should go into Nax and see what's going on in there,
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
It's Anubercon. There's a lot of Anoobs out there.
Yeah, Anoobers.
There's Anubarak and So this one's Anubercon.
Who was the vagina guy? What do we call him? The guy at the end of Old War, near the end.
At the end of Old War?
Vaganax.
Oh, Lord Vezak?
Vezax.
General Vezak?
That's it.
General Vezax, yeah.
We thought it looked like a big vagina. Anyway, sorry, continue.
But no, I'm really enjoying it. The first few wings, the heroics were pretty simple, but this last week, Resuvius was fine. But they have a couple of mechanics that are a little tough, and you got to build decks specifically, and then you have to get a little lucky. But Gothic, man, holy crap, that was a hard fight.
On normal or heroic?
On heroic, yeah. So I logged in right at midnight, and I streamed it, and I blew through regular and the class challenges in about 15 minutes, and then spent an hour on heroic.
Wow!
And I hadn't spent that long in any of the heroics versions previous. So just one shot.
So just to fill me in on how that works. When you do a heroic, I've not done heroic on any of this stuff yet. Because I suck mainly, but I've done some of the class stuff and all that, and I haven't even done the latest wing. But my question is, when you're on heroic and it's that much harder to beat, even for you, is it because he's just using more abilities? Are his hit points different? Is he using heals or things that he doesn't normally have? Is it more cards that you haven't seen before, so his cards are more powerful? Like, what is the difference between those difficulties?
Well, they make them incredibly overpowered. So rather than having 30 health, they'll have 45 health.
Oh,
or,
all right.
Some of them even have Lotheb has 99 health.
Good lord.
And but Lotheb also gives you spores to pop, so you can get buffed and all that stuff. So
right.
the fights are similar to the way they were in the game or in WoW.
Yeah.
But like what is it? Hygen. I think it's Hygen. Is it Hygen?
Hygen, sure. Vzax.
Maybe it's Noth. I can't remember. So one of them, his hero power was every time one of your creatures dies, he gets. Previously, it was like a 1/1 or something like that, right?
Yeah. On
his side. Then you go into heroic, and that every time one of your creatures dies, he gets a 5/5.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
So, yeah. There's puzzles that you have to solve, and when you first look at them, it seems ridiculous and unbeatable, completely unbeatable.
Yeah.
But you just tailor a deck that specifically beats that one mechanic, and it's fine. But there is still some that they're tough.
It's just hard. Yeah.
Like Patchwork is going to be, which we haven't fought Patchwork yet, and I'm really looking forward to this fight. Apparently, Patchwork is just going to be a guy who just doesn't play any cards, just swings a big axe at you every turn.
Oh, weird.
And so you have to just continue to taunt up, and then try to kill him before he berserks.
So it's that's a true like just burn him fight like the real fight was.
Yeah,
it was a DPS check is what it was back in the day.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's gonna be some really cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to Construct, and then I'm very curious how Kel'Thuzad's gonna be and Saffron. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that whole thing. Yeah, see, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that they're doing that, and
it's awesome how they're actually making these fights like the fights in the raid. And I didn't raid Nax vanilla because I had never gotten to raiding level in vanilla. I think by the time BC came out, I was still in like level 50 something or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, our Nax experience in 10-man at what was it, level 80, I guess at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 80.
Yeah.
We were in there for a while, and that was one of the funnest raid teams I was ever part of. So I have a lot of nostalgia for Nax for sure. It was a really cool raid, and even in its second incarnation, even though people say, "Oh, the original one was so much better," I think the second incarnation was great, and it was a lot of fun.
I loved it. That was some of the most fun I ever had.
Yeah,
in
I
raids.
level 200 gear. I remember all that. 13 when you get to the the heroic versions of stuff or whatever.
I love the story stuff on the ground. I mean, even just the ancillary quest stuff on the ground that led up to why the hell that thing had hovered over Dragon Blight and how it got there and what the hell was going on, and that was all really fun stuff. Yeah. I'm looking forward to what they do with this Molten Core thing, which we'll get to in a second. Speaking of which, here it is. Let's talk about it.
All right.
Big news of the week.
Big news of the week brought to you by Doghouse Systems, who's doing a back-to-school special on select notebooks, and that is definitely worth checking out. They have a blog at doghousesystemsnetwork.com, and they have that detailed there as to what those machines are and the discounts you can get for your back-to-school needs, so you can screw around and play Hearthstone in school. That's the plan. Go check them out, and as always, use the code Henry when you check out, and you will get double the memory on regular systems, and in this case, that definitely gives us credit for sending you to those back-to-school specials. DoghouseSystems.com for more details. All right. What is Blizzard doing to celebrate the next, or I guess the last 10 years of WoW, not the next 10. Hopefully they do get 10 more years out of it. Let's talk about that. Terran Mill versus South Shore.
Yes.
It first showed up in some meta stuff in the beta. People noticed, hey, there's a new map in here. What's going on here? And nobody knew what it was for. But they're calling this Terran Mill versus South Shore the rematch. This is from early WoW PvP, if you remember this stuff. And they say this: we'll be opening a team deathmatch style battleground based on the Timeless Isle struggle. However, unlike the old days of the Terran Mill versus South Shore, there will be a clearly defined victor. So you'll need to work as a team or face a crushing defeat. As a PvPer, Dills, you're probably pretty excited about that. Maybe, sort of.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this on the show that a deathmatch style battleground would be amazing, and here it is.
Yep. You think they listened to us? I think it once again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Once again, all their best ideas come from the instance. The next thing they were.
Terran Mill was so I raided South Shore many a time.
Right.
Just because sometimes you just get a little bored and you feel like let's just go a murderous rampage. It's time. So yeah, going in there, you come in from the water, nobody suspects it, then you hit the dock and then just go to town. But I didn't really come from Terran Mill. I guess I would go protect Terran Mill. That's what I would do. So
right.
Yeah, this is a cool little nostalgic thing, and I really like this idea. Yeah. I haven't seen what the map actually looks like though, so I'm hoping there's lots of cool areas to hide in and all that kind of stuff.
Well, all that's up right now is all that's up right now is a really vague kind of overworld looking thing, but it doesn't really give you too much in terms of map control detail or any of that.
Yeah, the map that they link here on the announcement is just it's like the whole area. Yeah. So I'm wondering, I guess it could be that the Horde actually starts over there in Terran Mill. It would make more sense though. The Durnhold Keep is where you would start towards Hillsbrad, but I don't know.
And this is going to stay in, right? Like this isn't going to go away after a couple of weeks or something like that. Some of this stuff does go away, but I don't think that does.
It would. I mean, there's no reason to build it as a whole, battleground and then get rid of it. So I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not too.
Amazing. Yeah.
Like Onyxia, we're getting a big boosted raid, and people are really stoked about this. Molten Core gets boosted. This has provided WoW players with their very first taste of WoW raiding, if they remember way back in the vanilla days. A 40-man raid for the anniversary celebration. It says max level players, so you got to be max level. Be able to participate in a 40-man raid finder version, so it's a raid finder version, not a... I don't think you can do like a pre-made in there. At least they haven't said that you could.
It just says... it just says the LFR, but I don't know.
Seems weird.
Like Onyxia, you went in. Well, I guess that was before there was.
That was way before that. Yeah. So, that would have been. Yeah. What was that? Wrath? No, that was the 5-year anniversary when that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a similar deal where they're putting in an old raid for an anniversary. It sounds like, but they'll have up to 40 players. I guess at maximum. Well, I guess it would have to be 40. So it's a locked-in 40 raid finder version. Unless they say different, it doesn't sound like you can go in there with your 39 of your best friends. You got to pug this thing.
But I think that's okay in this instance because 40 is a big number.
Yeah.
And
there's a reason they got rid of it.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way, If that was an easy thing to manage, it would have stayed in the game and would be here till this day.
Yeah. And I assume they're going to make everything super easy to avoid the fact that 40-man is just insane and annoying to deal with.
Yeah. There's not going to be a lot of weird
otherwise, it's Rage Quit Central.
No, big time, dude. And sitting around waiting for that thing. I mean, the best time to get into this will be the first few days, probably, because there's going to be that, and people are going to be rotating in and out of there a lot, and you're going to quickly get into instances. I wonder if 6 months later, assuming it hangs around, if you'll be able to get enough people in there. But who knows?
I'm definitely going to go for it because come on, Corehound mount.
Right, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's amazing. You got to go in there to get an achievement and a special Corehound mount reward for running this 40-man raid, and that's exciting. What's that?
Me and you should get a few other people, and we'll run this the first time with each other. So
okay,
maybe do instance TV of it or something like that.
I'm into that. That'd be fun. I also wouldn't mind capping some of that Nax action if we figure out a way to do that. I think that'd be fun. That'd be a good thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Put that up on YouTube. Or maybe on Twitch if they don't ding us for having the music.
Just
from the
don't
game.
Put any. Yeah, no copyrighted music.
Some of the funny stories I've been hearing lately are there's that Sing. It's like a karaoke game. Sing.
Oh yeah. But there's also the dancing game too.
Yeah.
You see, it's mostly girls in short shorts who play that game on Twitch, but
but still they're getting muted completely.
Yeah,
they can't get through the whole thing.
Can't play that game for sure. That game forever. Just forget it.
Yeah, and then there's.
What do you think about this? Have you talked about it yet?
I have. I talked about it on the Boop Show, but nothing with anybody else yet. Here's my takeaway from the whole thing. Well, actually, I don't know. I've been shifting around a little bit because this Ars Technica dude yesterday did this big article about how he thinks this does not signal that the Google deal went through. That it may actually signal it may have fallen through, and this is Twitch doing really weird. Ironically, twitchy things that don't really solve any of the problems. To just shut everything down and yank it. Well,
Trying
just
to set
to
up for the sale to come back.
maybe. I mean, there's a lot of theories that this is just them doing what Google's telling them to do. But then again, even Google doesn't go to these lengths with their video services. Some of these lengths are crazy.
I've had them pull YouTube videos that were basically meant for 20 people or something like that because we used the song.
True, and I've had them do minimal stuff like, oh, it'll play on the web browser, but you can't have it on mobile. You know, so they have these different tiers and stuff. But they don't just delete things whole hog the way that Twitch is. Twitch is just saying, hey, that whole archive we have, gone. Justin TV, gone. Everything it had on archive, gone. Like, just kind of a weird clean. It's not like Google says, look, guys, if we're buying you, we don't have any extra storage space, so you better delete everything. That doesn't make any sense. Like, it's a little weird. It's a little knee-jerky. And they've said precious little about this. You know, they've come back and had a couple of, things to say about the feedback. But for the most part, it's been a very weird, ham-fisted approach to this stuff. And I don't entirely get it. But there's other edge cases as they may be. A guy who wrote the music for a game, sitting down on Twitch to play the game he wrote and licensed the music for. He owns all the rights to the music. Playing his game and then having Twitch mute the whole damn thing because it's licensed music is the most ironic, horrible, stupidest thing ever.
They've gone back on some of that, though. They've said there's going to be a better appeals process for that kind of stuff, things like that. Eventually, they won't mute because they were going to do 30-minute chunks, and then now they're saying, well, we'll make it so it's less than 30-minute chunks. It's just that little portion with the song.
Yeah, but I don't know what it means long term. It's more of it's like they're disrupting the grassroots origins of the service, and that's what's pissing players off.
I think, though, Twitch has an opportunity right now to just set themselves apart completely and be the top dog for the foreseeable future by, instead of going this route, which is basically shutting it down, to go the other route, which is embrace the fact that players play popular music while they stream popular games and just shell out some money for ASCAP and BMI rights. And just say, hey, man, as long as it falls under these blanket rights, go.
Great idea. That's a great way to sort of do more for this than just go, essentially they're being bought off right now, or they're being intimidated out of the game. What they should do instead is say, well, all right, now hold on, everybody. And do what Google did with YouTube, honestly. Their deals are pretty...
Yeah, they give money to the people if the people will pay the money for that content.
Right, it's kind of a revolutionary step forward. Why couldn't they try to do that a little bit and say, okay, we understand this game, even this game soundtrack is a separately licensed thing and is not authorized to be streamed in this way. Let's strike a deal with whoever, even down to the artist himself. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously more complicated than I think it is, but
well, no, I'm sure that somebody at the company must have brought up this idea, because the thing is that I wouldn't mind as a Twitch. If I were a Twitch partner, which I'm not, but if I was, I wouldn't mind saying, all right, if I could continue to play music, I will have some sort of fee that means that I'm paying part of my BMI ASCAP rights, to attain those rights. That would be fine.
Of course it would. And everybody would do that.
Yeah, and everyone who's a big streamer who makes their living streaming would say, all right, cool, that means I can still play music. And the guys who don't play music now would continue not playing music and not paying that fee and whatever. So I just think this is a closed-minded approach at a kind of a big deal that really, this opens the door for competitors to Twitch.
Big time.
Yeah, they could have shut the door on everybody else right now and just been like, hey, we're the best. Yeah. Everyone should stream here because we're taking care of you.
A little more disclosure and transparency with the players so they would understand what's going on. They already know this is a fickle bunch. You can't mess around with gamers. You piss them off and they go somewhere else.
Oh, yeah.
And you just don't want to burn your bridges. So I feel like this is just the definition of ham-fisted approaches to
internet generation. It could, I mean, MySpace was the biggest thing ever. And before that, Friendster was. So, and they're gone.
How quickly these things change.
Friendster is totally gone. I didn't even realize that. I hadn't paid attention, but Friendster, gone. Completely gone.
What is that now? Let's see who owns that domain.
It's like some game or something now.
Friendster. Oh, yeah. That's right. Some Japanese, not Japanese, Chinese... browser game. Campus. Yeah, look at all this stuff. Wow.
I think all the stuff on there is just it's all been deleted. So anyway,
that's terrible.
Anyway, stick to the subject, goddammit.
Yeah, let's get back in here. Where are we? Oh, corgis. Let's get back to corgis. Anyone who logs in during the 10-year anniversary event will be claimed to Feisty, a fiery new pet or a feisty fiery new pet. His name's not feisty.
Yeah.
You can call him whatever you want. He's a molten corgi, which looks pretty badass in the video I saw. Just think of the corgi parade potential when you and your friends summon these wee waddling balls of fire for a walk, is their quote. It looks cool. They always do a pet for anniversary stuff, so this not a giant surprise, but would go nicely with your new Corehound mount. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? There have been some suggestions if you pull a cinder kitten out with the corgi that hilarity will ensue, but I don't know if that's true.
Oh, okay.
Rumors.
I like the little Easter eggs like that. That these two pets will play.
Yeah, they'll like bring out the Zerg and the Murloc Marine, the Starcraft Marine, and he'll start shooting at it, and the other thing will attack it. I mean, more of that, please.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff's great. Anyway,
so this is like the best anniversary stuff we've ever gotten.
I would agree. Some have said that it's not as good as a 10-year deserves, though, and I don't know what that means.
Those people are a-holes.
I guess so, yeah. This seems like a lot of stuff to me.
What is it that you want?
Yeah.
A friggin' Molten Core is back, Terranville versus South Shore, a mount and a corgi pet. I don't know. This is a lot of stuff, man. This is a lot of cool stuff.
It gave something to raiders. It gave something to collectors. It gave something to PvPers.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's all there, man.
Yeah, questers. I guess it didn't get much, but
the crafters.
Yeah,
crafted item.
You damn it! Gosh, you engineers, what are you gonna do with yourselves during this event? I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but some people are like, 10 years deserves more, and I don't know what that means.
But all the years in between, you basically got a pet and then a little buff stone thing, give you 10% extra XP or whatever. And this is so much bigger than all that, and I think. This is plenty. Dude, I think Blizzard's doing a great job with this one.
I just had a birthday, and I think I should have gotten a Porsche for my birthday. I don't think I got enough stuff for my birthday.
Everybody has a birthday, man. Why do we all make such a big deal?
You know what's crazy to think about is 10 years in video games is so different than 10 years in anything else. So you could say, the last 10 years in government or last 10 years in sports or 10 years or whatever, it just seems like a kind of normal time period. But in games, it's such an ancient time.
Yeah,
like 10 years is just so long ago.
So 2004.
So yeah.
What other game would you have been playing at the time?
I was playing my 3DS or the DS that just come out. It was that crappy plastic gray one.
Yeah, I think I was playing a lot of Final Fantasy Tactics on my Game Boy Advance.
That's a good game.
Yeah,
there are worse things to do with your time.
No,
I think I was playing a lot of Unreal Tournament 2004. I was really into shooters then.
Yeah.
And I think
Quake a thing. Quake was
still a thing, but that would have been like Quake. No, 3 was 01, so I think Quake maybe was on the downturn then.
Okay, all right.
But I'd say
it's hard to remember, man, what I was playing back then. Holy crap!
Yeah, I know, 2004.
That's when I was like heavy. I was in punk bands and I was trying to tour and do all that stuff. So. My gaming was a little different back then. I was more of a mobile gamer.
Sure, and we were still a year away from 360s. We were a year and a half away from anything Sony or Nintendo did that was new. So I was still playing a lot of old PS2 and Xbox One stuff, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. It's a weird thing to think about. And then I was playing WoW, and then that changed everything. Boom. All right, so there's that. Here's some bad news. I'll give you some good news first. We have a street date and a cinematic coming. This will be live in LA via live stream as well. So people who can't be there will be at home watching it. If I lived in LA, I'd go. But I don't, so I won't. Be among the first to witness its fury at the world premiere of Warlords of Draenor cinematic. Join Blizzard's Mike Morheim, Chris Metzen, and World of Warcraft designers Ian Hoskakikakanos. How do you say that guy's name? Brian Holinka and for the grand unveiling, streaming live from the Ace Theater in Los Angeles. This is on the 14th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. That's 10:30 for me. So that'll be 14th is what day? That's Thursday? No. When is that next week? Yeah, whatever. It's next week.
Sure.
It's they're going to unveil the cinematic, which is always exciting. I thought they were going to wait till Gamescom, so this is kind of a surprise. And which is right around the corner anyway. And then they're going to tell us when we're going to get the damn thing. So yeah, exciting news. That I'm really looking forward to that. I wish I could go to something like this, man. That would be amazing. Wouldn't it be cool? I know.
Not in LA. So if
If I could justify it, I would. I got to pay for a wedding. I can't do this extra stuff anymore.
Yeah, you got
I got stuff to pay for.
Bride's father.
Yeah, I got I got Salt Lake Comic Con and a table there coming up in like 3 weeks, and then I got the wedding right after that. There's just too much going on right now.
You got you're gonna go. You got to get your goat together, right, and stuff for the dowry and all that.
Oh
right?
yeah, right. 2 goats, a cow. What else? Bucket of jewels I got from my uncle. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Full of gold coins. Yeah.
I will buy your daughter. Oh, actually, they have to pay me. She's the daughter. That doesn't work anymore that way because you have I think the way it worked is you gave a dowry, right?
Woman gives to the husband. The dowry is to the man.
But doesn't the man have to maybe he has to do feats of strength or something? He's got to do something to prove he's worthy of the dowry.
He doesn't have to do nothing, man. He's a man. He already did it.
All right. He's got a wiener, then he's in. Got it.
He already did what he had to do. He was born a man.
Oh, I don't want to talk about his wiener. It freaks me out. So that's happening. Watch for that. 14th, we'll cover, of course, whatever comes out of that. Here's the bad news. They had their earnings call, and while it's not totally unexpected, and again, we are in that period, WoW is down to 6.8 million subscribers. They lost 800,000 players between last quarter and now. Yeah, quarter 1, 2014 till now. They were listed at 7.6 million. They say this, most of those losses were focused in the East, so in China, for the most part. So China they are the big ebb and flow in this picture. It's easy for Blizzard haters to see this news and go, this is the sign of the end. They start freaking out. They think this is all in their backyard. It's not. This is a global game, and in parts of the world, huge fluctuations up and down for WoW. That's the way it's been since they had the game over there.
Don't they do like the different payment models? So I feel like their payment model creates the ebb and flow action as well.
Yeah,
because they purchase the cards and stuff, right?
Right. So if no one's buying time, that shows as non-concurrent players.
Rather than just purchasing a month and then you just auto pay.
Sure. And that hurts them. So Asia takes a dive, and then all of the numbers show that dive. 800,000 people is a lot of people. I do wish they would say regionally, like, where are these percentage-wise coming from? Is it mostly China? Is it half and half? Is it, what percentage of this is in the States or in the UK? Like, I'd like to know where all their major markets are impacting these numbers, but it doesn't matter that much. Over 1.5 million pre-orders for Warlords of Draenor, so more than the amount we lost will be, presumably coming back to take advantage of their pre-order. Hearthstone on the iPad has added millions of new users to Battle.net. They didn't say how many millions, but millions. This seems.
I'm going to assume several million.
Million,
yeah, it's a lot.
2, 3, 4, 5 million is my guess, somewhere in there. Another note, and I think this is the most significant number here that nobody wants to talk about for some reason, or maybe it just isn't a big deal to them. It's still true today. If you sell 1 million copies of your game, you have a successful game. Now, some games with huge budgets, you maybe need to sell more than that to make up for something as big as like a BioShock budget or something like that. But, to sell a game within 1 to 5 million copies is considered a ginormous success for anyone's standards in the video game industry today. Over 20 million copies of Diablo 3, that's the base game, and Reaper of Souls, they count that in there. 20 million copies of that game sold to date. That's enormous amount of people bought Diablo.
Big deal. That's a big deal.
That's not small, and that's a lot of people since the quarter 1 numbers. It's easy for people to still forget all the improvements they've made to that game and talk smack about that game, but man, it continues to be a threat there. And then finally, there's a decline. The decline in subscribers quarter over quarter, which was disproportionately concentrated in the East, which I already mentioned, and was similar to the seasonal decline experienced during the second quarter of 2012, prior to the launch of the most recent expansion that year, or later that year. So again, it's the pattern. I don't know. This probably will get back up to 8 point something, and then next time it'll drop to 6.8, and then it'll go up to 7.9, and then down to 5 point. You can't sustain it and have it go back to 12. It's just not going to happen. Do you see that happening? I can't see it happening.
No, not 12.
Now, a new game, Blizzard comes out with something else and blows everybody out of the water. Maybe we get to another
room for that, but it needs to be adopted by and we've talked about this before, but it needs to be adopted by the kids, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't get to 12 million without all the kids playing it, and so we'll see. The next thing could be that thing, but I think at this point, WoW has a ceiling, and that ceiling is basically, but people, the new players are not going to pick up a game that's 10 years old.
Here's a good question for you. How many kids come into the market now who think that an RPG is League of Legends, in that it's this fast-paced single game progression from level 0 to whatever?
That's true. Yeah, I hear a lot of people call it RPG, and it's not.
I mean, it's those games took elements of RPG progression and integrated into their game, just like Call of Duty does with progression in that game. You're unlocking weapons and sights and stuff, and you have a level, and you're leveling through these fights and everything. So all kinds of games have adopted RPG mechanics. But I wonder if there's a whole generation of kids, because their introduction to RPG mechanics are the very light, small, fast-paced ones included in things like MOBAs, if then they approach something like an MMO or even WoW, that seems too long, too drawn out, too overcomplicated.
Like, wait, I got to play this for months?
Yeah. No. I wonder about that, because it does change your taste in the way you experience a genre or whatever. I mean, I could see people, I don't know, like, in the same way that the progression that's now in first-person shooters might put somebody off who just grew up on straight up, let's frag each other in a hallway and just kill each other, and it's all bragging rights, and we don't really have any progression. It's just pick up and play and put down. If those people are put off by the progression in the same way that people are now used to the progression are put off by the simple way of the other way. I don't know. It's complicated, but I really do think that there may be something to that. And if you keep having a decline and you're not seeing new young players join your game, part of that might be other very popular games have wired them in such a way that their expectation of what a quote-unquote RPG is or what progression in a game is has altered the way they feel. Yeah,
you progress during this game, and then you progress during the next game, and then you start over again. Yeah, maybe. I mean, to me, I guess we've always thought of the RPG as the very grindy experience, and you got to go out and kill all the mobs and get all the stuff. And yeah, that's not really the way some people have ever played.
Right.
It's weird.
Right. No, I agree. Some people in the chat room are saying, I've never heard anyone call LOL a RPG. Well, I'm not saying you're calling it. Who cares? That's semantics. I'm not talking about what you're calling something. I'm saying they have joined a game that says you're starting out with nothing, and the more kills you get, you level up, and when you level up, you have more gold, and when you have more gold or whatever, you're buying new items, you're advancing, you're more powerful, whatever. That's the progression in that game. In WoW, call it what you want, is a very different, long, drawn-out kind of progression. It's 100 levels soon, anyway. It'll be 100 levels of slower, methodic, different kind of pace. A more traditional RPG, if you will. If kids are reared on that other stuff, and then they're presented with this, I'm not sure they stick with this.
You know what would be cool is a WoW battleground where you level up MOBA style.
That'd be
inside
all right.
the battleground. Where everyone starts at level 90 and they have their gear or whatever. They start at the level cap, whatever that is at the time. And they have their gear already. But then they also earn other benefits as they play. And by the end of the battleground, you're more powerful than you were at the beginning.
Would you call, not in place of obviously the traditional progression, but you mean like a per match kind of thing? Just
yeah, just per match. And then you basically like earn buffs as you do things.
I'm sure they've thought of this.
That could be pretty fun.
I mean, they hinted for a long time, even on this show. Corey Stockton said a couple of times that, that MOBA style battleground idea was still in the works and was going to come, and we've never seen anything. But I guarantee somebody's thought of this stuff.
Yeah, pushing a couple lanes, but doing it. I mean, have you played Smite? Have you messed with Smite yet?
No.
Okay, so Smite is a MOBA, but you are looking at it third person style. You're behind your character, right?
Yeah.
So you don't look from above and see the map all around you. You're basically running down a lane. You're a guy running down a lane and fighting from just your guy's perspective. And so it could be similar to that with a WoW battleground where you're kind of moving down portions of the map and you're doing objectives on the way there, and you're getting bonuses as the more you do them.
You got creeps following you, and
it'd be really fun. Yeah, NPCs, similar to Alterac Valley, but a little bit different, and it could be amazing.
I'd be into it.
with the WoW combat style and everything like that, and the gear system and all. So
yeah, I'd be very into that. Who
get
knows?
on that, Blizzard.
Who,
I want to play.
knows? Yeah, do that for the 10-year anniversary. Then those guys will be happy. Finally, Alliance Chopper we've talked about, will be for sale in the game. And since you Alliance people lost, you can't get your free one. But you will be paying, if the current beta build stays, and it probably won't, but if it does, 100,000 gold.
Oh my God!
For that, it was added to the poly of Old Town Choppers in the latest beta build. This is the NPC. He's the only one that sells it, and it's the only thing he sells. The latest build also adds the Chopper mount spell with poly listed as the source.
Yeah, this is confirmed.
Yeah,
we know this is how it's happening.
No rep discount, by the way.
That is crazy, man. That is a lot of gold. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I think that's too much.
I think so too.
I mean, I'm no expert.
This is 20K for the mammoth, right? Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could get it down to 16K with the rep discounts. 100,000, my God! It's just, you're not gonna see a lot of these.
Nope. I think it's kind of insult to injury. And I'll say this: I saw a picture of the finished model. Right, looks great.
Yeah.
And then I went, wait, did I just say it looks great? Holy crap! The game, or the model in the game, looks really good. I don't think it looks nearly as good in real life. And my guess is I'm actually going to like the Horde bike even better in game as well. So here's what they should have done, or should maybe still do, or I don't know what you do now. But here's what maybe you think about doing, Blizzard. You have another vote, or you start this thing over. Let's go back in time. Let's say we can go back and do this over. Maybe the voting should have been, here are the real world bikes. Now have a look at the in-game equivalents. Now vote. I think it may have gone different, or at least would have been a lot closer. Wouldn't have been such
I don't know. I still think that the Horde voters just would turn out more. And
oh, they would have, and they would have won. I don't think it would have changed the outcome necessarily, but the real world version of that bike is not doing justice to that in-game one. It looks really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the Alliance compared to the real world one is a bigger improvement, but the Horde one still looks awesome in game. Yeah, to me this is just too much, man. Yeah. It's like the Alliance already lost. They didn't vote enough. That sucks. They're not getting a free one. But then to pile onto that by saying, "Oh yeah, and it's going to cost just more gold than anybody has." I mean, people don't have this much gold.
Not just laying around with nothing to do.
Some people do, but those people are freaks. Yeah. And the rest of us, we're struggling to buy some gems from the auction house and stuff. This is just crazy. It just means it basically, to me, it means that I would never have it.
If you're Alliance, you'd never have it.
Of course, you can roll a Horde tune, right, and log into the game and get your Horde mount. But by the way, it was September 30th or something. You got to log in by then.
Something like that.
Anybody who hasn't done so, make sure you do so.
Make sure.
But it's just, this is crazy, man. This is freaking crazy.
Some people are happy about them making you log in before then because it means that if you want it and you're an unsubscribed player, you have to resubscribe to log in that period.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that at some point then too the Horde one will be available for 100,000, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So if you didn't log in during that time, you can still get it.
And so far, our predictions have been dead on with this whole thing. So I think you count us as canon law here. Glommerwart in the chat room reminded me, and I think I saw this too. Bashiok admitted that it's planned to be the yak side of costs. So that's about 100K. For a yak, right? The yaks were about that, I want to say, or are about that. I'm not sure. I have no source on this, so I'm not sure.
I would just like some other way to try to get it too. Like maybe you could grind some rep out and do something. I don't know.
If it goes for sale, do you think when they both go for sale, let's say that starts happening with the Horde bike down the road, do you think they would open it up so that you could buy it cross faction? Because that's kind of interesting to me. Not at that price still, but.
Probably not, because it doesn't make sense to have an orc riding the Alliance bike, Yeah. So I think it's going to be only available to it's going to be single faction.
Yeah. Glommerwart, I think you're right. Yeah, you did. So it's funny. This sentence in the chat just made me think it would be the most out of context sentence you could say to anybody anytime. If they didn't know what you were talking about, the sentence is, he first said mammoth, then he said yak. What the hell are we talking about? All right, so there it goes. That's your deal. Let's dive into some tweets real quick with this. World of tweets.
Tweets.
World of tweets today. These are tweets or blue posts, depending on our mood, from Blues and people over there at Blizzard, devs and community people or whatever. Got one from Celestalon that he answered. The question was, with hunter pets no longer having crowd control abilities, my Shaw spider will cry, he says in parentheses. How will hunters crowd control? Celestalon answered, freezing trap, narrow escape, binding shot, intimidation, wyvern sting. Although those last three are kind of in conjunction with each other.
Well, you can only really do one or the other in those cases.
Yeah, because those are all... are those talents?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, binding shot, I knew that.
Intimidation is the Beastmaster one. Your pet does it. Wyvern sting is kind of the survival one, although they're not stuck to those.
No. How much of that do you use your pet for, really? Anyway, now, I mean.
So the pet in PvP was nice to have that little crowd control stuff because it was kind of set it and forget it crowd control, you know?
Yeah.
So in that way, it's a little bit sad because you're going to actually have to think a little more. But this is just adding a little bit of skill back in. That a lot of skill had been taken away from Hunter play, so we'll just put some back in. It's fine.
All right.
And I'm glad that there's less CC in PvP, so I don't care.
You're cool with this.
I'm cool with it.
All right. Hunter talk is what I should have sang there before
Talk!
Here's a lore question. Dave Kozak answered it. Will in-game Thrall be renamed to Goel anytime soon? Every character in the War Crimes calls him like that already, so they're all referring to him as Goel and not Thrall anymore. Dave Kozak says, in-game only very closely inmates call him Goel. Most characters will continue to refer to him as Thrall. So the excuse there, not excuse, but the what's the word? The conceit is that that's reserved for the higher ups in the story to refer to him as with his kind of holy Earthbinder name, and everyone else has to just call him Thrall. So there you go.
Or as Metzen calls him, Thrall the War Chief.
Yeah, War Chief Thrall. Yeah,
War Chief Thrall,
which clearly is happening. Although there's a screenshot of what's his name? I can think his name all of a sudden. The troll who's now the War Chief. War Chief Vol'jin. Sitting there in his throne room, hanging out with the title above his head saying War Chief. So that's cool.
Sure, I don't see him not being War Chief just that quickly.
No, he's the dude for a while.
Yeah,
I can't wait for his remake.
Unless
like
he gets corrupted by the Shah.
His redo is exciting, and all the trolls getting. I can't wait to see their model. I'm stoked about that. That's the most excited of models I am, and I'm not even playing one, but I'm most excited to see where they take that face and that body and all that stuff. For some reason, I'm into that. Final question. This was let's see. Please, it was a dailies thing. Someone said, please reconsider no dailies. There's something to do beyond dungeon grinding and give away to make money besides profs and professions and auction house, obviously. The answer came back. There are many, many more things to do in our outdoor world and many ways to make money. We just found things more fun than blue question or exclamation points.
Exclamation points, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I do too, but I'm kind of in a weird way. I'm sad to see him go.
It's gonna be strange because we've had them for so long
since the first expansion. Since I want to say at toward the end. What was the Isle over there? The Blood Elf Isle.
The
freaking
wow, really?
Brain was not working today at all. Shit. The first time they had them, and you went there every day and did the same stuff, and you had the flyover bomb run, and you had all the other crap.
Leave Shatrath and head over there.
Chat room, help us.
No, not Silver Moon. Sun something.
Sun Monkey Fart Planet. Damn it. Anyway.
Where are you at, chat room?
Quel'Danis, that's it.
Quel'Danis, thank you.
Shite.
God damn.
All right.
You know what? That place though, that was not fun. It was fun for a moment.
No, it was for a minute. It was fun for a minute, and it gave you like, a place to go every day. And then about a week later, you're like, ugh, a place to go every day.
It was annoying because every time that was the first experience with it, right? So you went over there, and you would grab all the dailies, and you'd run around, you grab them all, and then you'd have to basically travel around the island doing them.
Yeah.
And there was always a lot of other people in there doing them too. And so they're stealing your kills and all that kind of stuff like that. There was a few that you could kind of like help each other out with.
Yeah.
But it just felt so damn grindy, and it was something that you just had to do back then.
Yep.
And it just was annoying. Like the dailies actually turned into something really awesome. And I think that first experience with them was fine because it was the first experience. But
yeah,
then there was some hubs that just kind of sucked again. I'm happy with never having a thing that I feel I have to go do.
Yeah. As much as they were improved, I think in this expansion, the same problem would happen, and you'd end up with hubs you just couldn't stand, or you would get, they would kind of randomize some of those tasks, and one of them would be the one you liked, and you'd get it a couple days in a row, and you're like, yeah, that's the one I like, and then you'd get that one you didn't like for like 3 days, and you're like, I really hate this.
There's nothing more frustrating than the feeling of grinding to revered and then just looking at that bar to exalted and just going, I can't do it, man. I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
But you spent all that time doing it already.
and it's all the same crap over and over.
Can't keep it going.
It's hard. I think my favorite dailies, this is an opportunity to say best dailies ever. I think my favorite dailies were the ones just prior to the completion of the stadium for Trial of Champions.
That was cool.
Where you help the goblins go get their stuff, and
all that stuff was
I
cool.
liked those. Those were fun to do. Just generally, they provided a nice distraction.
But there is the whole thing where the you built up things changed over time. There was the Colosseum, right? So
Yep.
you would actually go back and it would be different. They'd built more.
Yep.
That stuff was pretty cool. Although now, again, I think I did the same thing where I never really finished all of that. Once we started raiding TSC, I was like, that's it.
That's it. We're just gonna raid it. That's it. Yeah.
Argent tournament.
I'm gonna face Duraxis every night. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I was, because he would say, you face Duraxis every time.
Yeah, you always knew that you were facing Duraxis.
Yeah. Plus, I had to watch a 10-minute movie of him killing a gnome before I could. Good Lord.
Oh, man, Anubarak, though. Remember Heroic Anubarak?
Yeah, dude.
So fun, man.
I spent that entire fight, though, looking in the sky. That's how
hunters... well,
so
you did that. You had to knock a couple of orbs down, well-placed orbs.
Yeah.
And then kite the big spiders over the top of them. That was a fun fight.
It was pretty good.
Going on in there.
It was pretty good. And I like just the whole idea of that thing falling like a big sinkhole. And
yeah, you kill the twins, and then you just
that stuff was
fall
great.
Down, and then here Lich King comes out and talks to you for a little bit. Yeah.
Dude, Wrath of the Lich King, hell of a freaking expansion. Let's just admit it. Let's just put it out there. What a great expansion that was.
Not to mention Chillwind Yeti, the skinning competitions we had.
Oh, yeah.
Poot!
I still dream about fighting Poot over a skin.
Poot is too quick of a clicker.
Yep.
I don't understand. He's like Jury, dude. It's like you just can't get him.
He's like Jury with the trivia.
He's like Jury with the trivia bud. Jesus, how did you do that?
That's pretty good. All right. Well, we got some quick phone calls, and we'll get to those right now.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Why, it's the town crier.
Oh, it sure is the town crier. This is a chance for us to let you call in and read your emails, and you do that a couple of ways. 206-202-3969 is the email or the phone number, rather. You can call and leave us a message there. Keep it short and interesting. It will get played. If you email us at theinstance@gmail.com, we'll take your emails and your attachments. Again, keep them short and interesting, and they'll likely make it on the show. Here's a call about story helping progress.
Hey, Scott Dilson Terpster. This is Mai Sheen from Emerald Dream. I was just, first of all, I want to thank you for making an awesome show. It's great. It actually got me into WoW again, because I haven't played since before Burning Crusade came out. And I was just wondering what y'all thought about storyline in the early levels, because I remember playing and everything was very precise on how you get certain skills, why you're getting certain skills, and it really made me care about my character a whole lot more than I feel like I do right now. That being said, I love playing my Panda Hunter. Y'all have a great show. See you later. Bye.
It's a natural progression of a game like this to start out, making that progress a much more significant part of your character progression. And I think now, with them being more spread out and the way the talents work now, there's just less motivation for them to make that a big part of the story moving forward, especially if you're at max level. So I understand where he's coming from, that those early levels are, they were special. It was like, wow, I just hit level 8 and I got what stuff now, and how do I know I got it? Because my trainer gave it to me, and remember the whole training thing was just so much different than it is now.
And you'd have to get different ranks of each spell, and you'd go back. You'd rank up your missiles or your steady shot or whatever it was. And it was cool, man. It was really cool. But I think that the time has come where we're not doing that anymore, and I think it's fine.
Yeah,
it's just a different era.
We will
It's
survive.
sad people never got to do that though. Remember having to buy grimoires for your warlocks?
Oh, dude, that would actually, I didn't like that. I didn't like that, and I didn't
warlocks had to buy twice the stuff because they had to buy all your pets.
And your bags were always full of those damn shards, and it was a rough time for warlocks.
And hunters' bags full of arrows, quiver. Oh my god! But now I switched to a gun, so now I can't use the quiver anymore. I got to buy the bullet sack or whatever the hell it is.
Right, the ball sack, I called it.
Yeah, the ball sack. Yeah,
right.
My ball.
I mean, duh. And then you forget about these things, but rough times. Some rough times there with managing all that stuff. But we didn't know any better. It all seemed fine at the time.
Yeah, none of it bothered me until it was annoying.
Yeah.
Once they took it away, you're like, whoa, this is so much better. I just have infinite arrows.
So Silver Wisp says cities felt busier when you had to return to train. That's true. I think you had a lot more traffic back in the day.
That's the point, but I also just feel like the cities feeling busy didn't do that much for the game. It was kind of cool, that moment of walking into Shatrath and just seeing people all over the place doing stuff.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think Blizzard made a conscious decision to get people out of the cities and out into the world, and that's what happened.
Well, I think what improved city traffic in Stormwind and in Orgrimmar was getting a new expansion where those were the hub cities again.
Yeah.
Not everybody was in Dalaran all day, and I don't know if you've been in Dalaran lately, but man,
Dalaran was kind of fun.
Ghost town that place is. Whew.
Sure. That's where my bank alt is located.
Just parked in there.
Because there's nobody in my way. So I just do whatever I want in there.
I liked it there. I thought that was a cool place.
I liked it too. Sometimes you go there and there'd just be weird stuff going on, and also all the weird magical stuff in the town in general was all really cool.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'd go in there and there'd be people racing around the square trying to
having a race.
Yeah, it was fun stuff.
Yeah, and you had the daily dungeons, and you knew who you were going to fight next because he was behind glass and the little thing in there. That stuff was cool. They had some really cool ideas.
You really build that though without making the game a little annoying by having to go to these places. It always seemed like it would be really fun to have it kind of like the Star Wars universe where each town you had to go to. There's been 3 towns you had to go to or something, and it's like, well, we got to go to Alderaan.
Right.
Alderaan's a completely different flavor.
Right.
And then the Cloud City or whatever so that kind of stuff could be pretty fun, but I don't know if there's a way to do that anymore.
Right.
It'd have to be like one giant server or something.
I don't know why I'm so nostalgic for Lich King today. Really feeling it for some reason. I don't know. I guess it's been enough time. Yeah, it was a cool.
Go kill the Lich King again.
Yeah, why not? Dude, anything to get more. What was the crap on the ground? Was it Defile?
Defile?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Good lord. Was there a worse poop to stand in the history of the game? No.
No, because if you were in it too, it was pretty obvious to everybody else that you're the one who did it.
Yeah, it would spread from you.
Yep.
It was like
you'd see Gerp trying to run out of it, but he'll never get out of it because he was the one in the middle of it.
I hated those
as fast as he's running.
Those Valkyrie things that would carry you out of there, and we were too what a fight!
It picked up Manny. Kill it! Kill it now!
What a fight! What a fight that was.
Manny over the edge.
Yeah, Manny off the edge. All right, we got another call here. I've actually 3 calls today, but I'm going to save one of them because it's totally directed at Terpster, and we need him to answer for his crimes.
Okay.
So we'll save that for next week. But here's another one about whether Blizzard will remove all the numbers.
Hello, Instance Crew. This is Pan from Pandoran Monk on Area 52. I was wondering, with the changes to armor coming in the next expansion with multiple primary stats being on here, do you think that Blizzard will just get rid of primary stats altogether and just solidify everything just to power?
It's an interesting thought. That seems pretty harsh.
Yeah, that's just like jumping off the cliff, man. That's
too far, right?
Yeah, and I'm okay with. I like the simplification of a lot of things, but there needs to be some complexity, and there needs to be something to think about, and different ways to build the same class, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
it can't just be some arbitrary eye level number that has no. You don't know what's adding to it, and it can't just be that Dills is 500 and I'm 488. It can't be that.
Yeah. That's because then it's like if I and me and Scott have the same gear, but I've gemmed my gear in such a way that my numbers are better.
Yeah,
then it feels like I'm winning the game or something. Like I'm doing good at the game.
Yeah, there's still some place you can eke out an advantage or a uniqueness or something.
And if it's all just power, that's going to be. It's gonna feel too simple, and I don't know.
I agree. It's like saying everyone's gonna have on the same armor and clothes all the time, and you're never gonna see any change every time you get some new gear. That would be. It's just too simplified.
There's a place for simplification, and then there's a place to keep things diversified, and it's not even complexity necessarily. It's diversity. So think about a game like Hearthstone, where we both play maybe a shaman deck, right? Yeah. But you don't put Alakir in your shaman deck, and I do, and it's a very simple change. Like you have Doomhammer, I have Alakir, right? Yeah. So it's a 1 card difference, but the actual flavor of the decks are now completely different.
Right.
And that type of stuff needs to exist. So when you talk about taking it all out, then it's just a little too much. Then we're just talking about pew-pewing each other mindlessly.
Yeah. May as well be a shooter or something else.
Yeah.
And at some point, I don't know. The game will lose things like having to carry ammo or worrying about feeding your pet or some of these other things that just seem like work. This stuff you're talking about, this caller's talking about, is not the work part. This is the work part is reforging, because that's just now you go in there with a mod, you click it, you're it's just a waste of time. Like reforging just is a money sink. That's not what they intended that to be. So when they remove stuff like that, it makes sense, because then it's like, well, that was work. Now give me a thing to do that's fun. And one of the fun things to do is to tweak out your character and min-max the stuff. Yeah,
that'd be slightly different. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with that.
I'd like more ways to be different, but with less annoying work to do. Exactly. So, and there's definitely systems that exist that can do that.
Got an email from Dave Wells, who writes in and says, "Hey, Scott, Terpster, and Dills, I just wanted to take a second to thank you for the Instance podcast. On July 3rd, I had to have neck surgery to fix degenerative joint disease, or DJD, to remove bone spurs. I have the privilege of wearing a neck brace at least until August 18th. Good Lord. During this time, I cannot drive or walk long distances. Several things have made this time of medical house arrest bearable. My wife, who's been taking care of my whiny self, works full-time and goes to school full-time. My youngest son, who has hung around the house with me since the surgery. The vast amount of electronic gaming devices in the house. Name it, we have it. Also, last but not least, the Instance podcast. I have been listening to the show for years, but since the surgery, I have been reliving some of the older ones. Every episode is like sitting down with, or a little like sitting down with and listening with friends with a common interest. This goes for Film Sack as well. Sorry, this is so long-winded, but I wanted to say great job and keep it up, Dave. I'm always interested in hearing from people who are going through some crap and that the show is helping them in some small way.
Yeah, we appreciate hearing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, means a lot.
I mean, we're in here talking into the internet, and yeah, there's a chat room responding, but for the most part, we're just having a conversation, hanging out, and it's me and Scott here. But this really makes it reminds you that we're in somebody's head right now too. There's someone with headphones on right now.
Yeah.
Right at this moment.
Right this second.
Well, actually, in the future.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, yes. Right now, not so much. But even 30 seconds from now, someone in the chat room might be this person. But 10 hours from now, somebody's mowing their lawn and just found out they've got cancer or something or whatever. And somehow this show is making a difference to them, and that means something. So
I've had the experience of having the sit down with and listen to friends with common interest while listening to a podcast. And it's fantastic. Yeah. It really is helpful. So, yes, consider us your friends, buddy.
Yeah, we're pals, all of us.
We're here for you. We'll be here next week, too.
Got another one from Ken, who says, I thought I'd ask for a shout-out of encouragement and strength from all your listeners in Hawaii. We face Hurricane, is it Isel? Isel?
I think it's Isel.
Isel? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
That started on August 7th in the Big Island of Hawaii, on Friday, August 8th on Oahu. Oh, he tried to spell it.
He put it in there for you.
Esel, sorry. So it's Esel. I got it close.
Esel. Yeah.
I think it was close. After Esel, we have a Hurricane Julio, or as I could have said, Julio, but I didn't, which will cruise north of us, and we still don't know what he will do. He will come to visit us on Sunday, likely. The only good thing about the hurricane threats is I don't have to go to the office tomorrow and can listen to the live instance episodes. So, Ken, a.k.a. Thantologus, if you're in the chat room, I hope everything's okay and your internet's still working and these hurricanes leave everybody alone. I hope that's what's going on there.
Yes.
I don't see him in there, but that...
And Bobo Shanti. I hope you're doing good, man.
Yeah. Oh, is that who that is?
No,
Bobo's there. We know he's there. Yeah.
We know he's there, too.
Yeah. Anybody on the islands who are being threatened by this stuff, I hope you guys are all right. That's it for emails. Again, you can leave those emails at theinstance@gmail.com and those phone calls at 206-202-3.
The drop of the week.
Drop of the week this week is the new World of Warcraft online comic. It's a PDF, so you can download it and read it in a comic reader of your choice, called Gul'dan the Stranger. And the Stranger, rather. The drums of war have begun to sound for Draenor orcs, and the power-mad warlock Gul'dan is the latest to play them. Brimming with fell energy, Gul'dan is convinced that his people will join glory and strength. Gain glory and strength. I said join, I don't know why. If they only kneel to the demonic burning legion, but a hooded stranger has recently arrived in the Gul'dan camp, or in his camp, with a somewhat contradictory vision. You need to read it. It's good. I checked it out. It's awesome. I like these little supplementary comics, books, short stories, crap that Blizzard does, and this is one of them. So go check it out and see what you think. Also, there's some animated stuff coming soon. Probably a lot like the Thunder King stuff they did.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's
cool. I don't know any else about it except they want to make that a thing they do on a regular, and that's exciting. So what was cool about that Pandaria stuff they did, it was all done in this very painterly style. And it was the artist, I interviewed her here on the show, but it's the artist who does the main Hearthstone art where everyone's gathered around that Hearthstone board. And there's like the giant green orc laughing with the orc girlfriend behind him. Yeah. She's amazing. So I hope she's involved in that somehow. Anyway, watch for that. Anyway, Gul'dan comic Gul'dan and the Stranger up on their site right now, worldofwarcraft.com.
You just scroll down in your browser and read through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Very
cool. It's a good way to do it. You can also I have a comic reader on my iPad.
You can download it and put it on your iPad.
Totally do that. And it's, DRM free, totally free. Just play it wherever you want or look at it wherever you want. That's going to do it. That's our show. Thank you all for being here and listening. Dales, you always got a few things going on. You're interviewing Ben Brode, I understand, this coming Monday.
Ben Brode on Monday, yeah. So that's really cool. So anybody who's a fan of Hearthstone or the Angry Chicken, well, I guess you have to be a fan of Hearthstone to be a fan of the Angry Chicken.
Maybe.
Yeah. But come listen. Live will be Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And then, of course, the podcasted version will go up soon after. And other than that, just come watch me on my Twitch stream. I'll be streaming hopefully some this weekend. It's twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. And hopefully the whole thing with the music stuff will settle down. I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. If this continues as it has, then I may stream with no music and then just have the Plug DJ channel that I set up just kind of running, and people can have that up as well so they can listen to that music. Yeah. And then, I'll be playing with no music on the stream just so that the VODs can exist.
Sure.
But we'll figure it out.
I don't know what I don't know. Whatever. You know what? If this forces more progress in the way music and copyright is thought of, because if you came to my house right now and said, Dills, we're having a barbecue, come on over. And I blared for 30 of my friends plus Dills, my favorite mixtape CD, that whole time you were here, nobody's coming down on you or saying, wait, you're not authorized to play that music to all those people. All this thing on Twitch is an extension of that. It's background music. It's not like you're doing anything more than that. I don't understand what the big freak out is. I really don't get it.
You know what it is too, is it's like the music industry is just in such a scared place. And I understand that, but you continue to eat yourself alive if you don't embrace the way things change. And same thing with the radio industry. Things change, and you need to be on board with it. And maybe think of it more as people playing music that then they may go out and purchase if you can make the purchasing easy enough.
That's what happens. We have legal authorized covers we play on the morning show, and when they play, what happens from that is we pay the yearly fees to do that legally. Number one, so we're already playing ball. The listeners hear it, and we get 50 tweets a day going, "Oh, dude, where's that album? What'd you say it was again? Where do I get that?" And they then go and they buy this music.
Yeah.
There's more people who are willing to buy music when Dills is streaming and says, "Oh, you guys like that? Yeah, that's my favorite Disturbed album," or whatever. You're going to get more sales out of that than you ever would if you were silent, had no music at all, and nobody had any idea what was going on. They're leaving money on the table.
It's all cross promotional, and then of course, like I said earlier, I think if Twitch just paid some sort of blanket licensing, which is not some insane amount of money that they do not have.
Right.
They have that money.
They could do it.
To do it.
They could do it.
So it's just, whatever.
Look,
but
if you're a recording artist and you have some beef with how we're perceiving this, send us an email. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, sure.
We can talk more about it. Willie Dills on Twitter, by the way, also. You can follow Dills on Twitter. He has stuff to say over there. There's a lot going on in the Frog Pants Network. I might just point your eyeballs to the store, because if you liked Guardians of the Galaxy, you might like the thing I just put up on the store. It's called Happy Little Tree, and you'll get why when you see it. Go to frogpants.com/store or theinstance.net/store. It's the same place. It'll take you to the same link, and check it out. And for cheap, you can get a nice print of your very own, signed by me if you want. That's it. Leave us a review on iTunes if you would like, or other podcast directories. We love that sort of thing. Paul Swicker does our show notes and manages our blog. We're big grateful to him. Thanks again, Paul, for all you do. Forums, show notes, and archives and more can be found at theinstance.net. Terpster should be back next week, but in the meantime, you can follow him at _T. Willie Dills at Willie Dills. You can find me at Scott Johnson. You can find the show at Instance Show. It's going to do it for us. You want more great shows like this? Check out frogpants.com/podcasts. There are plenty more to choose from and fill up your week with fine audio entertainment. It's going to do it for us, for me, and for Dills, and for the missing Terpster.
Aw, T.
Oh, we'll see you next time.
Later.
That's the end of that. Woo! Yeah. Good show, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
A lot of coverage.
Too bad we couldn't have the T for that one, because there's cool stuff to talk about.
He would have had stuff to say.
Mm-hmm. And how.
Well, you can't stop him when he's back, so he'll have plenty to say then. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Not worried.
I got to run and get to work because I don't have a vehicle right now. I don't know if you heard that story, but
no, what happened?
Gone. Motorcycle's gone completely. So
gone like dead or stolen?
No. It's it got hit, and then I did the thing with the insurance and all that, and it would cost more to fix it than it was worth. So they just cut me a check. So I don't have a motorcycle anymore.
Oh, so it's all public transport for a bit.
For a bit until I get a new vehicle. So
right.
We'll see when that happens.
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go to some kind of auction type thing for cars this weekend and see if I can find something cool for cheap.
We used to do that in LA with my dad. We'd drive down there in the summer, and he'd go to that Brazier auction. You can get stuff for so cheap.
Yeah, I mean, if there's, I'm looking for a small car to park in the city, because it's like park in the city.
Yeah.
So small car that's reliable, and that's all I need.
Yeah, a little Japanese thing. That's what you want.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
My dad brought home a car once that had a bullet hole in the back of the headrest.
Whoa.
And he only paid like $500 for like a $8,000 car. So
wow,
don't get that one. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
That's my advice, man.
All
right, stay out of trouble. We'll see you later.